Okay, so you may notice I'm in a different shooting location, and that is because my place of employment gave me 4 days to relocate from Pennsylvania to Phoenix, Arizona. So, couldn't grab a lot of stuff, but I did manage to grab this box you see in front of you. One of my portable 100 watt metal halide lights, which is lighting the area right now, and some tools. So we'll see if we can get something done here. One thing I did not grab was my usual unboxing implement, hole saw. And of course I'm already making a mess. Okay, now that I got most of the peanuts out of the way, see that this is a R.C. Allen 10-key calculator, and it looks suspiciously like a Facit because it either is a clone or a rebadge of the Facit. And I think it's just a rebadge because the case and all of the layouts look pretty much exactly identical to the Facit calculator. I don't remember which Facit model this is a clone of. It's not the fully automatic one. I think this does automatic division and semi-automatic multiplication. But there was a Facit calculator that did fully automatic division and multiplication. The ESA is 0, but this is not that one. So it did receive a little bit of shipping damage. See these levers are kind of bent. Let's see if we can bend those back. And also the front of the case is pushed out a little bit on either side. I'm guessing this got hit. It looks like it's bent in here, so I'm guessing this got hit during shipping. Although it does appear that this getting hit has protected the keys because none of the keys seem bent, so that's good at least. So I think the first thing we'll do is take the covers off and see what this looks like inside and see if we can get it to work. Okay, so I took the cover off. There's just one screw on either side, and then normally it would lift off, but because these were bent over, I couldn't get the front bar to lift straight up, so I had to take the front bar off, which is just two screws on this side, one screw on that side, and it just pulls out the front. And then also there's this little knob, which goes right around over here for counter direction, I think. So it had to come off, and then it just lifts right off. So looking at this, doesn't look too bad. These are stuck, so I'm not sure why they're stuck. Seems pretty free. Maybe. It's sticky there though, because I'm not sure which direction this turns, so it could be turning it in the wrong direction. Kind of wondering if I should just plug this in and see what happens. Interesting looking plug. Looks like little brass insets on focus. Little brass insets there. Of course, it's all bent out of shape, but it doesn't seem like it's engaged. I plug it in, assuming that it is. And now it's definitely plugged in. Okay. So the motor is not connected right now. You can see how sticky these might be. Or not. I wonder if it's in mid-cycle or something, but everything seems pretty locked up. That goes. I wonder if that'll go if I plug it in. No. We're gonna have to look at this for a minute and see if we can figure out why it's all stuck. So while looking at this, I noticed that the contacts are right down here, and they do appear to be closed. So if you can see that, they're right there, and they do look closed to me, even though the machine didn't turn on when I plugged it in. So let's do some resistance checks. I'm gonna find out where I put my meter. Okay, so first we'll just check the cord here, which shows completely open. So there's some terminals right on the back. See if Alright, so that side of the cord is connected to that terminal. And the other side of the cord should be connected to the other one. And it is. Okay, so the cord seems to be satisfactory. So let's check the resistance across these two contacts here. Nothing. It's open. This spring on the bottom. Maybe those contacts are just dirty. Let's see. Let's see if these two wires. Yeah, even though those contacts are closed, they're not actually making contact. Alright, let me see if I can find something to clean those up with. Okay, as you can see right now, the two contacts are showing open. If I push down on them, they go short, which is what should be happening. So what I think happens is, like this might have been pushed down on here so long that the bottom contact might have lost some of its spring and is not making a good connection anymore. The only problem is I can't bend it back up because it's underneath this other contact, which is being pushed down by this little bar here, which can only be moved when the machine finishes its cycle. I think what I'm going to do is plug this back in and then push down on this little cardboard piece here to make contact and see if I can get the machine to finish the cycle. Plug this back in. CF, just pushing down this little cardboard here. Oh, motor's smoking. That's reassuring. Didn't seem to want to finish the cycle though. Contacts. Okay, now they're separated. So it did finish the cycle. Alright, so I'm going to unplug that, bend that contact back up, and you can see if anything has. Yes, there we go. Now it's sweet up. I can clear that, clear that. My motor smells like it's burning hazardous chemicals. Anyway, let's fix that switch first. Right, I've bent the contacts back up and plugged it back in. I'm going to drizzle some oil. Ooh, there's a lot of oil down here first, as it seemed a bit stiff initially. Of course, everything will have to be oiled. Anyway, since it's been sitting for who knows how long, get some oil on these gears. And I realize that this is probably not the best setup because the hole's on the side instead of in the front. Makes kind of a mess, but will do for now. Just get some down in there so I can spread around. Alright, so let's see what happens if I go over here and push the add key. That's not bad. Oh, the switch worked. It's jammed again. Interesting. This looks like a slip plate here, but it didn't slip. Because you can't see what I'm doing. It turns one direction. It's not going to turn the other direction. Let me see what it's sticking on. Oh, so I pushed this button a little bit and it seemed to get it unstuck, so I need to get a tissue first. Okay, back with the tissue so I don't get oil all over my cord. Plug it back in and see what happens this time. Now it's just running. Stopped it. Okay. So it did not increase the counter at all, so I'm not quite sure about that. You can try and see if so it is back in its home in the end of the cycle. See if I can. Still cannot enter numbers though. So everything to do with the carrot is locked up. So let's take that apart. I did unplug this again, by the way, in case it decides to take off and I'm not expecting it. So this is our carriage here, which seems kind of solid. There's a lever down there. Yeah, it doesn't seem stuck. This doesn't completely seem stuck, but it's really doesn't want to Doesn't have much play at all, though I do see it sliding on a rail down there. But it looks like it might be seized to another rail in the back. So let me take a minute to look at that. Okay, so it turns out the key lock is a bar across the front here that has grooves cut in it for the keys. And when the machine's doing a cycle, the bar slides over so that the grooves do not align with the key stems and you can't push any of the keys down. What I did was I plugged it in and I pushed this clear button to see if I could get the machine out of a cycle, and that seems to have worked. I can now space over and space back. So let's see if we push 1. That still does nothing. So the number keys still don't work. Oh, the rest of the keys seem to. If I push C, oops, I've unplugged myself. Looks like it clears it automatically. I don't think you have to have it plugged in. Oh, now it worked. Alright, maybe someone got into an independent or an iffy state. Alright, let's see what happens if we do 25 add. Well, there you go. We got 25 on our accumulator and 1 on our counter. Fortunately, I can't seem to. There we go. This is bent, it hits this. These are some pretty heavy steel bars. I don't have my vise here, so I'm not sure how I'm going to bend those back. But for now, I'm assuming this is the subtract button. I don't actually know that. I don't think I have that key. This is. I should just push divide. These are the 3 modes I have. Times arrow, times 2 different arrows, and divide right arrow. What does actually mean, I don't know. I see over here it says sub, and that is where the divide key is. Not quite sure what that key is. Unless that's supposed to be the multiply key. No idea. Let's try 25 add. Let's do 5 and push this button and see what happens. Yes, that is subtraction. Okay. So I wonder how, because this is supposed to have semi-automatic multiplication, which I believe in this case is where you push the key each number of times and it enters the number that many times. I don't actually know. Let's try 25 and see if this, I just added it again. Let's put it in that mode and see what happens. I just added it again. Not quite sure. We can try it in divide mode though. Let's try 355, then you tab all the way over and add, and then do 113, tab all the way over, switch it to divide mode and see what happens. No, that just subtracted. Maybe that has to be up. It's very weird when you push the button, because like when you push the button, the motor spins before anything actually happens, so you think you've like sent it into an undefined state, but It takes a minute after you push the button for it to engage the mechanism. So now this is switched up, and we're in divide mode. See what happens this time. Well, that's closer. I think it didn't shift all the way over or something. Stop. Now it stopped. Let's try that again. We'll do 55. That is all the way over. 355. That's different. So, shifted two different ways. And we're supposed to have it in division mode. 55. So that went all the way over. Add. And 1, 3. That went all the way over. Switch this up and say right. Well, it works. 3.1415. Okay. So division seems to work. Our remaining mystery is multiplication. Not quite sure how that works. Clearing that works. Can clear those. Let's try it all the way over mode again. 25. Well. Oh, are you supposed to hold this down for multiplication? I thought I can't push. Okay, maybe you're supposed to hold this down instead of entering the numbers on the keyboard, because it is shifting over automatically. Interesting. Let's clear it. And we want to multiply by 25. So hold this down 5. Oops. Okay, so that must be how you're supposed to multiply that. You just hold this down until your number reads the right amount. I wouldn't quite call that semi-automatic multiplication, because it doesn't cycle count for you like I was expecting it to. So you can't enter in there. Not sure what this is for either. That way it doesn't automatically shift for you. I'm not quite sure what that does. Oh, that's just it the other way. Okay, this diagram is starting to make sense now. So, when you have the switch in this position, after you press down the multiply key and hold it down until your cycle counter reads the correct amount, then when you lift it up, it will automatically shift left the way the arrow points. When you have it in this position, if you have this thing straight out, like the arrow shows, it will not shift after you hold down the multiplication button. If you have it in this mode and you have this thing pointing over this way, the carriage will shift to the right after you're finished holding down the multiplication button. And then division, the carriage always shifts to the right. So that must be how that works. Interesting. And it would appear that this sub here means if you have this pushed down, the division acts like a subtraction. So if I have 25 in here and I have 1100 to subtract 25, which it does, Oh, and it automatically shifted too. Okay. And if you have this lifted up, I think it should do division then. I'm not sure what it'll do when I have it in the multiplication setting. Let's try it. I just did subtraction, but it didn't count it. Oh, because it already cleared everything, that was why. Interesting. If I do, now I'm locked out again. If I do 24 and then do subtract, so it will subtract and it will count and it will not shift. Interesting. Other than that, this machine seems to be pretty much working as far as I can tell. I don't think it's supposed to have any other fancy features. All the buttons seem to be doing best I can guess what they're supposed to do. So we still have to bend this back out, and I'm going to go through and do a lot more oiling since all I've oiled so far is this mechanism over here. But yeah, I also have to fix the case. You see how this piece is bent out. So I'm guessing what happened was it took a hit to the front in shipping, which pushed the bar in and then bent the sides of the case out. So I'll have to see if we can fix that, but otherwise, it seems to be pretty good. Take a look at the back of the case there. So it does say Facit system, so let's just be a rebadge of the Facit machine. I'll have to look up and see if we can find out what model number of Facit this is a copy of. It's probably from the mid to late 1940s, I'm guessing, when this model was introduced. Because the ESA 0 came out in 49, and that was the full-featured one, so this should be before that. But this is a pretty cool machine. Now, don't get to work on the 10-key machines a lot because most, if not all, of the American full-featured calculators are full-keyboard machines, like the Marchin and the Freedom and the Monroe. So it's kind of cool to have a nice little 10-key one. The keyboard's pretty loud, but the machine itself isn't terribly loud. It's pretty fast too. Okay, let me get back to oiling all this and then see what I can do about the case. So I dug around to the bottom of the box a little bit, and I happened to find this, which is our missing multiplication key. Put that back on. There we go. Okay, so everything seems to be oiled pretty satisfactorily, I think. Just put all it on this here, I guess. And I don't want to put too much on there because I think that's supposed to be the slip clutch, although it didn't do much slipping before. Just stalled the motor out, I think. But anyway, do one last demonstration with the covers off, and then we can put the covers back on. So I did manage to straighten out my clearing levels there. So we can enter numbers, add them, clear everything. Can also subtract if we push this down. Clear that. We can put it in multiplication mode. I think we have to push this back up, but I'm not sure about that. And then we can enter, say, 625. and then we'll multiply by 625, our usual thing. So we want this to say 625. Whoops. Up just a little bit too soon. There we go. 625 times 625 is 390,625. We can divide. Has to be up for division. We'll do 5. Little walk around while it's running. Start that again. Back side. Oops, I stopped already. It's okay. I can restart from back here. Look at all the gears and everything down in there. Governor on the back of the motor there. Oops. Alright, I think we're just about ready to reassemble this guy then. Also have to bend my case back into shape and probably clean up these plates a little bit. They seem a bit dusty. I was doing some research. There seems to be, I think it's the, was the NE or something like that. Anyway, it seems to be produced from around, I think, 1936 to 1943. I think the equivalent Facit model was like it wasn't the NEA, that was the aftermath. It was either the EA or the NE or something like that. I think the NEA was basically the same thing as this, but it got a different case style. It says the order style one with the bar in the front. Anyway, I'll put this back together and I think we'll do one last demonstration and then that should be it. Something I just wanted to point out. You notice on the badge on the motor it says Chicago, USA. So apparently this is not just a rebadged Facit, it was actually made here in the United States. I thought that was kind of interesting. So R.C. Allen must have just licensed the patents and manufactured it themselves. I was kind of surprised by that. Another thing I wanted to point out was the little carry drums up here. If you remember on the merchant calculators like the XL and the EA, these drums here were made out of pot metal and had a tendency over time to swell up and crack, leading to problems with the calculator. But these seem to be made of some kind of stamped, either aluminum, probably aluminum. They look like they might be aluminum. So if you can kind of see that they're actually just hollow shells with the mechanicals on the inside. So kind of hard to see that. So you can't really get a good side view on it. You can see that one has a hole through the shell there. So they're just pressed shells. I thought that was kind of interesting. Probably a better design than Martians. If you look at the case here does say manufactured in the United States. Licensed faucet patents. So, interesting. I think I'm just about ready to put this guy back together, so I'll have to unbend the case, but seems to be pretty good. There's something to note when reassembling this. This bite gets 4 screws in it, and the one down here, if you notice that the standoff up here sticks out a fair bit more than this one down here does. And that is why this one, this hole down here, which would be this hole, gets the screw and then gets this little standoff washer go on the back like that. So when you put it on, it matches the height of the standoff. Just a little note for reassembly. It's got a pretty good bend in it right there. Let's see if I can take that out. Of course, the paint's flaking off the backside now because of that. Okay, so we're all back together now. As you can see, I did manage to unbend this. There's a little tiny hint of a bend right here, but it's not super noticeable, so I think that'll be okay. You can really see because of the glare. You can hold this steady maybe. Clear. Let's go to, this is multiplication mode. So theoretically, if we do 625. So theoretically, if I move this lever over, I have this in that position. Now if I shift this out, so you can see now we're in the third position. We want a 6 there. Whoops. Why? Oh, because I didn't have this set up, that's why. Let's try that again. 6, 2, 625. We got 625 times 625 is 390,625. So that works. Can go to division, switch that over. The keyboard is going to take some getting used to. So you'll notice that even though I have it set to division and I press add, it still counts in the counter there. And that is a sign that this is a model EA, because the NEA fixed that issue so that when you have it in division mode, it doesn't enter anything in the counter. So this is definitely a Facit EA clone. But it's not really a clone because they licensed the patents, so I'm not sure what you'd call it. So it's not a rebadge because it says made in USA. So basically, it looks like R.C. Allen bought licensed all the Facit patents and then made an identical machine in the United States. So it's not really a clone and it's not really a rebadge. I'm not sure what you exactly call it, but I guess a second source manufacturer maybe. Anyway. Watch the keys go up and down. And of course I forgot to clear the counter because I was too busy talking about it, so this is inaccurate. So watch the keys here, they dance up and down as it changes operation. most of the other, or pretty much all the other calculators that I work on, it holds the divide key down the entire time it divides. So it's a kind of fun to watch, an interesting feature there. Anyway, so our result there is correct. So I think that's about all I have to say for the R.C. Allen clone or remanufacture of the Facit EA calculator. I believe this model, the Facit model, was introduced in 1936. I'm not quite sure what year this R.C. Allen version was made. Don't see a whole lot of these. These aren't exactly common, but anyway, it's a pretty cool machine. So, hope you enjoyed this video, and thank you for watching.